گلوی زین حدیث عاقبت سستر کنم خنده مستانه ای زین تلخی ناب شراب اشک دل فریاد مستانه به نامش برکنم یاد بادا یاد بادا یاد بادا ساقیا آن روی همچو را آن نگاه در احمق مشهور را
Good evening, everybody. Hi. Just turn Cam down a little, and I suppose get my shawl on. Make me look official and sort of warmer. I've been running around doing things, so I was a little bit hot, but there we go. That makes me look a little bit more official, doesn't it? Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. It is so lovely to welcome you all. For those of you who are listening now, or those of you who listen in later, welcome back to the second reading already in 2021, because of course the very beautiful Saman was with you yesterday evening. I welcome you all again to my hearth fire. It's very beautiful and very warm, and it's burning beautifully right now. We have the lamp, we have beautiful music from Godwin-Seidl, and I can put the link, for those of you who've never joined us before, I can put the link on again afterwards so that you know where you can find his music on YouTube. My name is Joanna Godwin-Seidl. I am your host this evening. I run Vienna Theatre Project, which is the company that during lockdown decided to read 1001 Nights. We are now on the fourth book, and for those of you who've been listening from the very beginning, or for those of you who heard my New Year's Eve story, which I just pulled out of a hat, and it was an old story of the porter and the three ladies of Baghdad. And in the Three Ladies of Baghdad, we finished that night on New Year's Eve with them opening the door to three gentlemen. And there's a surprise in store tonight with the story of Ala al-Din. So I hope you are all sitting super, super comfortably. I'm nice and cozy and warm by my hearth fire. Maybe I'll see if I can get the fire in a bit better. There you go. How's that? Okay, I'm going to turn Kamyab down so that you can hear me very well. Oh, and what I did want to show you actually is I got, because of the readings, I got this absolutely beautiful little gift, sample gift today from a chocolatier in Austria, in a city in Austria called St. Pölten, and it is called Belgicatessen. I will put up their link on Facebook later. I believe you can order their chocolates, and they do very beautiful Belgian chocolates. And you can see where all those spaces are black. It's where I and my family members have already been munching away at the chocolates. So thank you very, very much, Belgicatessen, for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that box, isn't it? The box alone is beautiful. So thank you very much for my beautiful chocolates, which I received today via DHL, and I've been munching away at them. That's why I'm probably having to start wearing wider clothes, because by the time I've got through this lot, I'm going to be huge and pregnant, like I've got triplets or something. But they're really good, everybody. Right, so without further ado, welcome. Again, my name is Joanna Godwin-Seidl, and I am your host this evening for 1001 Nights. We are on, I'm going to turn you right off. We are on the fourth book, and we are reading the story of Ala al-Din, and we are on the 156th night. So, are you sitting comfortably? Then let us begin without further ado. Scheherazade said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king," that Ala al-Din continued. "So he packed me 50 loads of goods and gave me 10,000 dinars, wherewith I set out for Baghdad. But when I reached the lion's copse, the wild Arabs came out against me and took all my goods and monies. So I entered the city not knowing where to pass the night, and seeing this place, I took shelter here." Quoth the old man, "O my son, what sayest thou to me giving thee 1,000 dinars and a suit of clothes and a mule worth over 2,000? Ala al-Din asked, "To what end wilt thou give me these things, O my uncle?" And the other answered, "This young man who accompanieth me is the son of my brother and an only son, and I have a daughter called Zubaydah, the lutist, an only child, who is a model of beauty and loveliness. So I married her to him. Whereupon he egged on all the folk to intercede with me to restore her to him, because she left him forthright. Now he loveth her, but she loatheth him. And when he chanced to take on an oath of triple divorcement and broke it, she did indeed leave him. So now he has egged on all the folk to intercede with me to restore her to him. But I told him that this could not lawfully be saved by any intermediate marriage, and we have agreed to make some stranger the intermediary, in order that none may taunt and shame him with this affair. So, as thou art a stranger, come with us, and we will marry thee to her. Thou shalt lie with her tonight, and on the morrow divorce her, and we will give thee what I said." Quoth Ala al-Din to himself, "By Allah, to bide the night with a bride on a bed in a house is far better than sleeping in the streets and vestibules." So he went with them to the Qazi, whose heart, as soon as he saw Ala al-Din, was moved to love him, and who said to the old man, "What is your will?" He replied, "We wish to make this young man an intermediary husband for my daughter, but we will write a bond against him, binding him to pay down by way of marriage settlement 10,000 gold pieces. Now, if after passing the night with her he divorce her in the morning, we will give him a mule and dress, each worth 1,000 dinars, and 1,000 for ready money. But if he divorce her not, he shall pay down the 10,000 dinars according to contract." So they agreed to the agreement, and the father of the bride-to-be received his bond for the marriage settlement. Then he took Ala al-Din and, clothing him anew, carried him to his daughter's house, where he left him standing at the door, whilst he himself went to the young lady and said, "Take the bond of thy marriage settlement, for I have wedded thee to a handsome youth by name of Ala al-Din Abu Al Shamat. So do thou use him for the best of usage." Then he put the bond into her hands and left her and went to his own lodgings. Now, the lady's cousin had an old duenna who used to visit Zubaydah, and he had done many a kindness to this woman. So he said to her, "O my mother, if my cousin Zubaydah see this handsome young man, she will never accept after me my offer. So I would fain have thee contrive some trick to keep her and him apart." She answered, "By the life of thy youth, I will not suffer him to approach her." Then she went to Ala al-Din and said to him, "O my son, I have a word of advice to give thee. For the love of Almighty Allah, and do thou accept my counsel. As I fear for thee from this young woman, better thou lie let her alone, and feel not her person, nor draw near thee her to her." He asked, "Why so?" And she answered, "Because her body is full of leprosy, and I dread lest she infect thy fair and seemly youth." Quoth he, "Oh, I have no need for her." Thereupon she went to the lady and said the like to her of Ala al-Din. And she replied, "I have no need of him, but will let him lie alone, and on the morrow he shall gang his gait." Then she called a slave girl and said to her, "Take the tray of food and set it before him, that he may nap." So the handmaid carried the tray of food and set it before him, and he ate his fill, after which he sat down and raised his charming voice and fell to reciting the chapter called Y.S. The lady listened to him and found his voice as melodious as the Psalms of David, sung by David himself, which, when she heard, she exclaimed, "Allah disappoint the old hag who told me that he was affected with leprosy. Surely this is not the voice of one who hath such a disease, and all was a lie against him." Then she took a lute of India land workmanship, and tuning the strings, sang to it in a voice so sweet its music would stay the birds in the hearts of heaven, and began these couplets. "I love a fawn with gentle white black eyes, whose walk the willow wand with envy kills. Forbidding me, he bids for rival mine. 'Tis Allah's grace who grants to whom he wills." And when he heard her chant these lines, he ended his recitation of the chapter and began also to sing, and repeated the following couplet. "My salam to the fawn in the garments concealed, and to roses in gardens of cheek revealed." The lady rose up when she heard this, and her inclination for him redoubled, and she lifted the curtain, and Ala al-Din, seeing her, recited these two couplets. "She shineth forth a moon, and bends a willow wand, and breathes out ambergris, and gazes a gazelle. Meseems as if grief loved my heart, and when from her estrangement I abide possession to it fell. Thereupon she came forward, swinging her haunches gracefully, swaying a shape, the handiwork of him whose booms are hidden, and each of them stole one glance of the eyes that cost them 1,000 sighs. And when the shafts of the two regards which met rankled in his heart, he repeated these 2 couplets. She spied the moon of heaven, reminding me of nights when we met in the meadows of Leon. True, both saw moons, both sooth to say it was her very eyes I saw, and she my eyne. And when she drew near him, there remained but 2 paces between them. He recited these 2 couplets. She spread 3 tresses of unplaited hair one night, and showed me nights, not 1, but 4, and faced the moon of heaven with her brow, and showed me 2-fold moons in single hour. And as she was hard by him, he said to her, "Well, keep away from me, lest thou infect me." Whereupon she uncovered her wrist to him, and he saw that it was cleft, as it were in 2 halves by its veins and sinews, and its whiteness was as the whiteness of virgin silver. Then said she, "Keep away from me, for thou art stricken with leprosy, and maybe thou wilt infect me." He asked, "Well, who told you I was a leper?" And she answered, "The old woman so told me." Quoth he, "'Twas she who told me also that thou wast afflicted with white scurvy." And so saying, he bared his forearms and showed her his skin was also like virgin silver. Thereupon she pressed him to her bosom, and he pressed her to his bosom, and the twain embraced with closest embrace. Then she took him, and lying down on her back, let down her petticoat trousers, and in an instant that which his father had left him rose up in rebellion against him, and he said, "Go it, O Sheikh Zachary of Shaggery, of father of veins." And putting both hands to her flanks, he set the sugar stick to the mouth of the cleft and thrust on till he came to the wicket called Pecton. His passage was by the gate of Victories, and therefore he entered the Monday market and those of Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and finding the carpet after the measure of the dais floor, he plied the box within its cover till he came to the end of it. And when morning dawned, he cried to her, "Alas, for delight which is not fulfilled! The raven taketh it and flieth away." She asked, "Well, what meaneth this saying?" And he answered, "O my lady, I have but this hour to abide with thee." Quoth she, "What? Who saith so?" Quoth he, "Thy father made me give him a written bond to pay 10,000 dinars to thy wedding settlement, and except I pay it this very day, they will imprison me for debt in the Qazi's house, and now my hand lacketh 1/2 dirham of the sum." She answered, "O my lord, is the marriage bond in thy hand or in theirs?" And he answered, O my lady, in mine, and I have nothing. She rejoined, Well, the matter is easy. Fear thou nothing. Take these 100 dinars, and I had more. I would give thee what thou lackest. But of a truth my father, of his love for my cousin, hath transported all his goods, even my jewellery, from my lodging to his. But when they send thee a serjeant of the ecclesiastical court, and Scheherazade perceived the dawn of day, and ceased to say her permitted say. I'm going to read you one more night, everybody. The 257th night. I'm just going to take a sip of my water and I think have a poke of that fire because we want to see it burning a little bit brighter, don't we? Thank you very, very much for the hearts. Saman, you looked gorgeous yesterday evening as well. Welcome, everybody who's still with us. Thank you very much. I'm just going to, as I said, take a poke at the fire. If I can see to eat and see if we can. Oh, what am I doing? I'm making it worse. Lord have mercy. There we go. We're going to do that. We're going to add these things here. And hope that this all burns well. I think I've just made it worse, everyone. I don't know how, but I have. Let's hope that that's going to pick up. Right. So that, that was my successful poking the fire and making the fire better. But I hope those little bits that I just put on there are going to catch light. And it's going to pick up again. Oh, come on, little fire. Go for it. You can do it. We know you can. Let's see what it does. Oh well, can't be helped. Right. So, let us hope that it picks up. And I will carry on with the 257th night. Well, you can do it. I know you can. I know you want to. It's smoking an awful lot at the moment. Maybe the wood's a little bit damp. Let's see what it does. Oh, things are catching slowly. That's good. All right. So we'll carry on, whatever. All right. So now Scheherazade said on the 257th night, it hath reached me, O auspicious king, that the young lady rejoined to Ala al-Din, and when they send thee at an early hour to a serjeant of the ecclesiastical court, and the Qazi and my father bid thee divorce me, do thou reply, by what law is it lawful and right that I should marry at nightfall and divorce in the morning? Then kiss the Qazi's hand and give him a present, and in like manner kiss the assessor's hands and give each of them 10 gold pieces. So they will all speak with thee, and if they ask thee, why dost thou not divorce her and take the 1,000 dinars and the mule and suit of clothes according to contract duly contracted, do thou answer, every hair of her head is worth 1,000 ducats to me, and I will never put her away. Neither will I take a suit of clothes, nor aught else. And if the Qazi say to thee, then pay down the marriage settlement, do thou reply, I am short of cash, at this present, whereupon he and the assessors will deal in friendly fashion with thee and allow thee time to pay. Now, whilst they were talking, behold, the Qazi's officers knocked at the door. So Ala al-Din went down, and the man said to him, "Come, speak to the Effendi, for thy father-in-law summoneth thee." So Ala al-Din gave him 5 dinars and said to him, "O summoner, by what law am I bound to marry at nightfall and divorce next morning?" The sergeant answered, "By no law of ours at all. And if thou be ignorant of the religious law, I will act as thine advocate." Then they went to the divorce court, and the Qazi said to Ala al-Din, "Why dost thou not put away the woman and take what falleth thee by the contract?" Hearing this, he went up to the Qazi and, kissing his hand, put 50 dinars in it and said, "O our lord the Qazi, by what law is it lawful and right that I should marry at nightfall and divorce in the morning in my own despite?" The Qazi answered, "Divorce on compulsion and by force is sanctioned by no school of the Muslims." Then said the young lady's father, "If thou wilt not divorce, pay me the 10,000 dinars, her marriage settlement." Quoth Ala al-Din, "Give me a delay of 3 days." But the Qazi said, "No, 3 days is not enough. We shall give him 10. So they agreed to this and bound him after 10 days either to pay the dowry or to divorce her. So after consenting, he left them and taking meat and rice and clarified butter and what else of food he needed, returned to the house and told the young woman all that had passed. Whereupon she said, "'Twixt night and day, wonders may display, and Allah bless him for his say." Take heed, ladies and gentlemen, this is important. Be mild when rage shall come to afflict thy soul. Be patient when calmly and calamity breeds ire. Look ye, the nights are big with child by time, whose pregnancy bears wondrous things and dire. Then she rose and made ready food and brought the tray, and they two ate and drank and were merry and mirthful. Presently, Ala al-Din besought her to let him hear a little music. So she took the lute and played a melody that had made the hardest stone dance for glee, and the strings cried out in present ecstasy, "O loving one!" After which she passed from the adagio into the presto and a livelier measure. As they thus spent their leisure in joy and jollity and mirth and merriment, behold, there came a knocking at the door, and she said to him, "Go, see who is at the door." So he went down and opened it, and finding 4 dervishes standing without, said to them, "What want ye?" They replied, "O my lord, we are foreign and wandering religious mendicants, the viands of whose soul are music and dainty verse, and we would have fain take our pleasure with thee this night till morning doth appear, when we will wend our way, and with Almighty Allah be thy reward, for we adore music, and there is not one of us but knoweth by heart store of odes and songs and ritornellos." He answered, There is one I must consult. And he returned, and Zubaydah, who said, well, open the door to them. So he brought them up and made them sit down and welcomed them. Then he fetched food, but they would not eat and said, O our Lord, our meat is to repeat Allah's name in our hearts and to hear music with our ears and bless him who saith, our aim is only converse to enjoy, and eating joyeth only cattle kind. And just now we heard pleasant music in thy house, but when we entered, it ceased. And fain would we know whether the player was a slave girl or a maiden of good family. Ala al-Din answered, it was this, my wife, and told them all that had befallen them, adding, verily, my father-in-law have bound me to pay a marriage settlement of 10,000 dinars for her, and they have given me 10 days' time. Said one of the dervishes, have no care, and think of naught but good, for I am sheikh of the convent, and have 40 dervishes under my orders. I will presently collect from them the 10,000 dinars, and thou shalt pay thy father-in-law the wedding settlement. But now, bid thy wife make us music, that we may be gladdened and pleasured. For to some folk music is meat, to others medicine, and to others refreshing as a fan. And again, dear ladies and gentlemen, a little interception from me. If you remember the story of the porter and the 3 ladies of Baghdad that I read the first section of, again, a couple of nights ago. And if you haven't read it, all of our readings are still on Facebook, and they are also on youtube.com/Vienna Theatre Project. You can see all of our readings there, so you can catch up and read from the very beginning. Here's the surprise, everybody. So I'm going to go back a little bit. But now bid thy wife make us music, that we may be gladdened and pleasured. For to some folk music is meat, to others medicine, and to others refreshing as a fan. Now, these 4 dervishes were none other than the Caliph Harun al-Rashid, his wazir Jafar the Barmecide, Abu al-Nawas al-Hassan, son of Hani, and Masrur the Sworder. Isn't that a lovely surprise, everybody? We are 1,300 or so pages into the book, and we are meeting characters that we met, I think, around, I don't know, page 100 or something from the very first book. So that's just a reminder, you must go back and read these stories, listen to these stories if you haven't listened to them yet. Now, these 4 dervishes were none other than Caliph Harun al-Rashid, his wazir Jafar the Barmecide, Abu al-Nawas al-Hassan, son of Hani, and Masrur the Sworder. And the reason for their coming to the house was that the Caliph, being heavy at heart, had summoned his minister and said, O wazir, it is our will to go down to the city and pace its streets, for my breast is sore and sore straitened. So they all 4 donned dervish dress and went down and walked about until they came to that house where, hearing music, they were minded to know the cause. They spent the night in joyance and harmony, and telling tale after tale until morning dawned, when the Caliph laid 100 gold pieces under the prayer carpet, and all taking leave of Ala al-Din went their way. Now, when Zubaydah lifted the carpet, she found beneath it the 100 dinars, and she said to her husband, take these 100 dinars, which I have found under the prayer carpet. Assuredly the dervishes went about to leave us laid them there without our knowledge. So Ala al-Din took the money, and repairing to the market, bought therewith meat and rice and clarified butter, and all they required. it's still trying, folks. Let's see if I can do something to this. Ta-da, we have a flame. Yay! For a little bit. So Ala al-Din took the money and, repairing to the market, brought therewith meat and rice and clarified butter and all that they required. And when it was night, he lit the wax candles and said to his wife, "The mendicants, it is true, have not brought the 10,000 dinars which they promised me, but indeed they are poor men." But as they were talking, behold, the dervishes knocked at the door again. And she said, "Go down and open to them." So he did her bidding, and, bringing them up, said to them, "Have you brought the 10,000 dinars you promised me?" They answered, "We have not been able to collect aught thereof as yet, but fear nothing. Inshallah, tomorrow we will compound for thee some alchemical cookery. But now bid thy wife play us her very best pieces and gladden our hearts, for we love music." So she took to her lute and made them such melody that caused the hardest rocks to dance with glee. And they passed the night away in mirth and merriment, converse and good cheer, till morn appeared with its sheen and shone, when the Caliph laid 100 gold pieces under the prayer carpet, and all, after taking leave of Ala al-Din, went their way. Now, they ceased not to visit him thus every night for 9 nights. And each morning the Caliph put 100 dinars under the prayer carpet till the 10th night, when they came not. Now, their reason for their failure to come was that the Caliph had sent to a great merchant, saying to him, "Bring me 50 loads of stuffs, such as come from Cairo." And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. And finally, right at the very end, we have the fire. It's typical, isn't it? Very beautiful though. Right, I'm going to put some music back on so that we can enjoy a little chit chat. I think after that reading, I deserve a little chocolate, don't you? For those of you who weren't here at the beginning, I got this gorgeous box of chocolates delivered to me today from, and I have to make sure I get the name right, Belgicatessen. And they sent me these chocolates. Isn't that fantastic? I wonder which one I should take. Oh, it's so difficult. There's a snowman even, and a swan. And it all looks very... Is that a lion's head? Or a horse's head? Yes, it's a horse's head. A mushroom, a heart. Look, I've got a beautiful look. This is very 1001 Night-ish. A beautiful little red heart. Isn't that gorgeous? I am going to eat this one. It looks like some kind of caramel chocolate. Oh yeah, oh that's nice. Thanks, Belgicatessen. These are absolutely scrumptious. I'll put their link down because this box is so beautiful if you want to give gifts. I'll put their link down on our page afterwards, along with a link to Kamyab's very beautiful music. Well, dear friends, the fire's finally picked up. And I can't get, this chair is too, you know, Saman always gets her cat to beautifully sit on her chair. I can't get my dog to sit on my chair. My dog has actually decided to sit on my sofa, which is very naughty and he's not allowed to do, but he's very comfy over there. I am going to love you and leave you and wish you many, many blessings. I hope you have a beautiful weekend this weekend. And we will be back on Tuesday with more of the adventures of 1001 Nights. I hope you had a very beautiful day today, or are having a very beautiful day today. It is already late here. It's 10 o'clock at night almost. So I will wish you many blessings. As I said, a very good night. I'm going to leave you with the fire burning for a little bit and Kamyab's music. I'm going to eat the rest of my chocolate, which is very naughty. And I will see you next Wednesday. I look forward to it. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.